Hey guys, and welcome to a video covering the ancient summoning familiars that came with the release of Archaeology. Now there's a new king of all PvM familiars being the Ripper Demon, which I'll of course cover in this video, but there's one big thing that I think is missing from this update. Anyways, let's talk about these familiars and have a little analysis. So when you're ready, grab your cup of tea, sit back, relax, and enjoy. First off, some general information about Ancient Summoning. It requires level 60 Archaeology and requires you to complete the final mystery of the Infernal Source called Dagon Bai, which I do have a guide on my channel. If you're interested, I'll link in the description below. There are a total of 7 new familiars that have been added to the game, ranging from levels 45 to 96 summoning. One of the new pouches, called a Binding Contract, requires 1 blue charm, 200 spirit shards, a normal pouch, 2 blood of Orcus, and 2 Hellfire metal. These can be created at any summoning obelisk, including the scrolls you can make out of each pouch. To then create one of the new pouches, you have to kill 1 creature of the types you saw before, so of these 7 new familiars, to get 1 pouch. You don't have to be on Slayer task at all, you just kill one of them, for example 1 Ripper Demon, and you will create 1 Ripper Demon pouch. The first players who reached level 68 Archaeology and made these pouches made absolute bank per hour, killing these creatures with a bunch of binding contracts in the inventory, and it's even slightly profitable as of right now. Now the first thing I wanted to do to test the raw damage of these familiars without scrolls was using a challenge gem, but familiar damage is not included in a challenge gem, so I timed 1 minute and used them on dummies instead. I then looked at these clips and added the hits per hit in a spreadsheet to make a nice overview to see what average damage these familiars do without scrolls and what average damage they do per minute without scrolls if they were to have 100% accuracy, which they do not at lots of bosses, trust me. Now before I say anything, the Ripper Demon will be getting nerfed, and some of these data values may be changed for the other familiars as well. I do not yet know, but the Ripper Demon is confirmed to be nerfed, and you'll see why in just a few minutes. Now as you guys can see, I did include the Water Fiend, even though it's a skilling familiar, but I did exclude the Gargoyle because I just didn't think it was worth testing. As you can see, the Water Fiend actually does more damage than the Hellhound, which is quite funny, but the Hellhound is a level 45 familiar, and it will probably have lower accuracy as well. Now, the Steel Titan has an average damage per minute of almost 12,000 without scrolls or specials at 100% accuracy, and the Calgarian Demon and Ripper Demon have over 13,000. Now, this entire spreadsheet doesn't have that much value, but I found it interesting myself to find out the total hits per minute for all the familiars, which is extremely high for the Ripper Demon, as it has a chance to hit 2 or 3 hits in a row, which is extremely powerful, and that's without scrolls, by the way. As you can see, it gets over 36 plus hits per minute, which is insane compared to the Hellhound's 26 or the Steel Titan's 14. But the Steel Titan does hit higher on average, obviously. Anyways, that doesn't matter. One thing that was very apparent though is that the Abyssal Demon seems to stagger every 7 hits or so for whatever reason. I don't know why it does this, but there's a little delay, or it might have been lagging my world, but it does this. It just waits and then attacks again. Have a look at this clip here. And have you seen the Water Fiend though? Look at him, he just goes ham. I wouldn't want to mess with him. Now, the Blood Reaver Familiar has a passive of dealing 25% damage of your healing item to your target. So if you eat a piece of food, it will take 25% of the total life points that piece of food heals and deals that as damage to the target, which is probably utterly useless, and it's a level 73 summoning familiar, and its scroll is that you heal 10% of its life points to yourself from the familiar, so basically an extra piece of food and... Huh? I don't understand why this is in the game, but it's a little underwhelming. Now, this does work with Soul Split. As you can see, whenever I hit these Abyssal Demons in this short little test, you see a little blood spell coming towards the Abyssal Demon, hitting around 20 to 60 damage, which is nothing crazy. It works with Soul Split. It's something, I guess, but I don't know. I don't know. I'm assuming you could get maximum damage out of this by using your Blood Fury, your Guffin set, Soul Split, but it's not very useful. I don't think this is a relevant familiar. Now, at level 45 summoning, you can use that Hellhound Familiar. Now, this Hellhound Familiar absorbs 10% of any damage you take by taking the hit itself. And on paper, this is quite a decent chunk of damage reduction, and it's quite effective at Moss Golems, for example. I noticeably used much less food, but about like halfway through the task, the Hellhound ended up dying, so that's that. This is actually a okay alternative to using a pack yak at moss golems if you're sweaty farming these, which is quite interesting. I can see this becoming useful at a gorilla axe or something, where you want to fully AFK, but you just need that slight bit of damage reduction. But at the same time, you might be better off using a damage familiar, killing them off so that you have less of these gorilla axe or moss golems on you at the same time. A little bit of a trade-off, but it's annoying to bring multiple pouches with you for every hellhound that dies, making it less AFK in the end. So I think for high-level content, this familiar is irrelevant, but if you're a mid-level player, you're doing God Wars Dungeon 1, Bandos, whatever, you're level 45 summoning, this is probably hands down the best familiar you can take, because the other familiars you can take are trash. You could possibly take like a bull ant or something for like 5 pieces of food. Now please ignore the fact that I'm using a Kagarian Demon at moss golems, thank you. But this Kagarian Demon is good at group bosses as it has a AoE effect by using the scrolls to provide all nearby players with a plus 5% critical strike buff for 9.6 seconds. So I can see this becoming useful by one player bringing this along with raids and buffing their entire team. Now the Abyssal Demon was the only PKing familiar added with this update, binding and teleblocking the target for 9.6 seconds. Now on paper this sounds quite interesting, but in practice, people have anticipation and freedom so they can actually not get stunned for quite a large period of time. But there is the time period where both these abilities might be on cooldown and you might be able to stun a person so that you can kill them. And you can teleblock them at the same time as well, which is much easier than using a spell if you're using ranged or melee to go PKing. Or if you're group PKing and you're on Ancients and you still want to teleblock, this might be an option. And I know PKing is dead, guys. Please don't tell me. I know it's dead. I've made a video about it. It's a shame, but it is what it is. Now, if you're in a legacy world, which I tried doing, I can see this familiar being pretty good because you can just keep on stunning people on legacy. But again, legacy is also quite dead in the wilderness. Apart from people killing Revenants in Legacy because you actually kill them quicker than in EOC using a Revenant Bane two-handed weapon. So yes, it's fun, it kind of works, but in practice you're probably better off using a Pack Mammoth or Steel Titan and Scrolls in the wilderness because you can just kill players much easier. Also in 2v1 situations, I've tried using it, but it's just... You need the extra food in a BRB to run to the 1v1 area, you need to pay more attention, and constantly spamming the Abyssal Demon stun doesn't actually work as a proper tactic, especially not in 2v1s. Now whenever I stream wilderness content, there's always people that try to hunt me down for whatever grudge they have, or because they want attention on stream, whatever it may be. But yeah, thanks to them, I actually got the chance to see if it works in a proper fight versus people that actually have experience and gear. And the Abyssal Demon, no. Let's just say you're better off using a Pack Mammoth, Pack Yak, or Steel Titan because the only time this familiar will be better is against unsuspecting victims in Legacy combat mode. Okay, the Ripper Demon is clearly insane. It's super good for speed gills, it's super good for Solak, and it will be getting nerfed soon, as confirmed by JMod on a Reddit post, which is sad, but I'm still going to be making this video and giving you guys the information I got. It's very easy to use if you just keep spamming the scrolls using your spiritual prayer potions, and you can easily get a PB at Vindicta even if you're bad at speed kills and completely unexperienced like myself. Now, some friends of mine that have Limitless and all the other stuff like Elder Overload salves, which I do not have yet, which I will be making, got 22 second, 23 second Vindicta kills with the Ripper Demon, which is clearly insane. I didn't get those kills, but I definitely got a faster PB, and I'm very bad at focusing on a lot of things at the same time. I was panicking on stream to make everything go right. I messed up my switches here and there. I wasn't using the best in-slot perks from Ancient Invention, but I still got a better PB, and it's clearly a very good familiar. If you don't believe me, have a look at this hilarious comparison. So the Steel Titan, the best familiar in game currently for damage if you're spamming using spiritual prayer potions or summoning flasks, got Vindicta down to 80,000 life points, or around 80,000 life points, within 5 minutes. I'll put some images on screen, but that's 5 minutes, and I did use Reflect at the end, so I kind of took that off, but, you know, around 80,000 life points, spamming scrolls in 5 minutes. The Ripper Demon... This is going to be very funny, guys. The Ripper Demon... The Ripper Demon killed Vindicta solo, fully, in just over 2 minutes when I was spamming the scrolls. Can Can you believe that? A familiar kills a boss in 2 minutes. That's faster than some Iron Men kill Vindicta. My average kills are probably close to that if I'm AFKing a bit and using Revolution. That's a familiar. Although it's expensive, of course, to use all the scrolls and spiritual prey potions, it doesn't matter. The familiar killed Vindicta in just over 2 minutes. That's hilarious, right? To put that into perspective, the Titan was getting around 400 damage per second on average at Vindicta, being around 24,000 damage per minute. The Ripper Demon was getting almost 4 times as much damage at 1550 damage per second at Vindicta, and 93,000 damage per minute. That's insane. That's almost a 500k gem on its own. That's why it's getting nerfed. And this can be useful at various bosses, as some other content creators have already tested. So for the verdict, the Water Fiend, which I didn't cover, is a great skilling familiar and excellent for archaeology, and the Gargoyle is a good mining familiar. The other familiars aren't really useful except for the Hellhound at the lower to mid levels if you're starting with bossing. The Abyssal Demon isn't really that relevant for BKing. The Blood Reaver has to be changed, otherwise it's just dead content. The Calgarian Demon is a thing for raids, and the Ripper Demon is better than a Steel Titan, and probably after the nerf still will be better than a Steel Titan, but we'll have to see. Now, one thing that was truly a shame is that using these creatures is not summoning experience, and I thought it was going to be a good summoning training method, but creating the pouches is awful experience, and using these familiars doesn't net you any experience as far as I know. I thought I was getting experience at first, but that was just my Charming Imp crushing the charms, which is just a lost opportunity to make summoning fun while training summoning through combat. I thought that was going to be the case, but no. And with that being said, I hope this video was interesting to you. If it was, please leave a like down below and maybe even consider subscribing, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.